Hello everyone, this is the solution for the practice midterm. I encourage you to go and do it by yourself before seeing this video. But if you're stuck somewhere and you want to come and see the solution, you can view this video. And let's start. I'm not gonna go over each one by itself. You go and read each one of these, and I'm gonna just go and explain everything here. This is the main table that you need to work on, maybe this one, but this kind of information is given to you. So we have book titles here, and we want to see, I'll compare these actual sales with the projected sales. So for month one, the projected sales were 300, but the actual sales was 130. So we want to calculate certain values here, and also here the books prices. So think about this as a library trying to sell these books for college students. We're going to use this table in a function called VLOOKUP. But let's beginning here, the total quantity projected. So this is the projected sales. We want to sum these values and put it there, okay, and so on. So we move down, and this will move down too. For the biology, for example, we're going to use a function here, not just a formula. So proper function here is sum, and you open a parentheses and you add the sum of all these values. You click enter. So this is the total, and you use the autofill to fill in the rest of the table. This is actually the total, the actual sale, so the total quantity sold. So we are using the actual sale here. So it's very similar. You will use the sum function. If the instruction asks you to use a function, you have to use a function. You can't use a formula, okay? This is the actual sales value or the total. You close it, you click enter. Now use autofill to get all the values. Here we want the average monthly quantity sold. So this is the actual quantity, and we want to see the average. We don't want to see the total, we want to see the average. So you go and click equal the average function, and you select these values here. You click enter. Okay, so this is our average. We still use autofill to get all the results here. The price, this is a little bit tricky. We're using, so what we're trying to do here is that we're going to pull the price from this table and put it here according to the book title. So what's going to happen here is that we use a function that will take this word, that will take the biology, and search it for this table, okay? Search the word for this table. Once you find the book title, it will return the price. It will return this value. So take this value, look it up in this table. When you find it, return this value, okay? And before that, I think it's asked you to name, give a name to this table. So this will make it easier for you to search. So you highlight the table and you select here, you write prices, I guess. So now the whole table here is named prices, okay? So when you refer to the whole table, you refer to them by this name. So if you come here and you say, okay, this one equal VLOOKUP, this is the function, VLOOKUP. You open a parentheses. Now it asks you the lookup value. Okay, we want to look up this value. Okay, when you click the comma sign, it will tell you now type the table array. That's table. Okay, you can start writing the name, or you just go and select it. But here I was just gonna write the prices. This one. Okay. Then it will tell me the column index number. So once it found the value here, so it will go and look for biology in this table, but I want to return this value. This is the second index. This is the column 1. This is the column 2. So I want to return the value that's in this column. So the second column here is 2 and another comma. Now it will tell me, is it true or false? So I have two options here to select from. True if I have an approximate match. So if I'm looking for a value, let's say like a 10%, if this is a 10% return, like a value in this column, but there is no 10% here, there's 20%, that's an approximate. So it will just look for the next available value in this table and return its value from the second column. But here we're using the false because we need the exact match. The biology exists in this table, so we're using the false value here because all of these books exist here. Okay, we don't have an approximate a decision here. Then you close that one, click enter. We got our price. It's 187. You can check it out down there. It's 187. Now we use the autofill again and get all the rest of the prices here. The total revenue, of course, I think it's asks you for a formula. So you don't have to use a function. You can use the product function if you want. But the total revenue is the price times the total quantity sold. Okay, that's kind of like obvious. So we're using the price times the C, yeah, the C. So either way will work. So the total here equals, let's say, the price times the total. And you click enter. You don't have to worry about the references here. So when you go and use the autofill, it'll just give you the whole prices there for the total revenues. Percentage of projection here, we're looking for the total quantity, the actual total quantity sold to the total quantity projected. So we want to divide this value by that value. Okay, so we're going to use a regular formula. You can select this one. You can type it or click on it. Divide it by this one. This one is already formatted as a percentage, so that's why you see the percentage. You go and use the autofill to get the value. So here we sold under the projected quantity. We are 89% of the projected value. Okay, we sold, but here we exceeded it. So we sold 4% over what we projected, and here is 25%. This asks you to highlight these two values because they exceed the projected values. So you select the column and you go to conditional formatting. It's just the regular one that you use in the exam at the test. This is the greater than. So if this value is greater than 100%, okay, then I want you to show the green color inside it. I like that preview. It will show you that you're doing it correctly. So these two are green because they exceed 100% in cell. Top performer. This one is a tricky one. It asks you to use an if function. If you look in the statement, it will tell you that it's an if function. So what the if function do is that it will see if you're getting what is the best cell for these books. It's this one. Okay, so I want to return here best item. This is my best item based on the percentage. I achieved 25% sales greater than what I projected. Okay, so I want to show here best sale, but the others are not, just empty. Okay, so what I'm going to use here is an if function. I will write equal, then I will start if function. Then I will put my logical explanation or logical test. What value? So what if this one? So I see if this value in G4 equals the maximum value. So now I'm using another function inside the if function. I want to see if this value equals the maximum of all these values. Okay? So what this function will do, it will return the maximum. So the max G4 to G9 is 125, right? So this is something saying that if G4 equals 125. Okay, we're using a function here instead of putting a value. All right, so if this is true, I want you to return the word best item, and you use double quotes if you're writing any text in the arguments. If this is not true, if I said return the word nothing, you do nothing like that. Okay, and you put it between two double quotes. But I want you to return nothing, actually nothing. So you need to go and delete. Oh, it just closes the parentheses for me. But if you go here and take away the word nothing from inside and just leave it blank, so two double quotes there, that means there will be no value represented in there. And you click enter. This is not my top one, so that's why you see it empty. But don't go and jump to the autofill thing. You have to worry about this value, okay, the red box here. If you do the autofill, the red box will shift down because you leave this relative, you use this free to move, okay? I'll show an example here. If you go and use the autofill, although you're getting this is your best item, this is not your best item. Why it shows up? If you see, if you click on this one and click the function, the max function, you will see the red box shifted down. So it's excluded these two values, okay? This one down there, if you see the maximum, it's only this value. So that's why this is the only value in the max function, and this G9 equals the same value. That's why you get the best item. That's totally wrong. Okay, what you need to do here is that you need to fix this red box here. You need to fix this reference, G4 to G9. So it's always going to be the maximum among all these cells. One way to do that is you go in front of the column and you click F4, and it will fix both the column and the row for you. And you go here again and click F4 and you fix both. You can type the symbol in front of it, but if you use F4, that's will solve the problem. Now when you click enter and you go back and you use the autofill, it's only this value, okay? Because all the other values, this one is fixed, the red one is fixed, while the blue one is keep moving. If you want to see that in the formula and you exit one, you go to the show formula option. So you can see that the blue is shifting down while the red is fixed. You see that? So be careful when you do this in the test. Okay? Make sure that if you think you have to fix one of these cells, you have to use these symbols. The next one here, we want to decide on two options now. So you want to rent certain box that meets certain criteria. You want to rent the box that has the lowest projection, or not the lowest, sorry. You want to rent the box that doesn't exceed or meet the threshold here. So this one is under 95%, so you definitely want to rent that one. But the rest are okay. Right? So only this one. But also there's another option here, or another constraint. You want also to rent the book that has the least total revenue, which is this one. Although it's exceeded the threshold, the 95%, but this is your lowest one, okay? So you want also to rent that book. So here it should tell you this one is rent and this one is rent, okay? How are we gonna do that? Give me your attention here. This is a little bit tricky. We're using three functions together, all right? So this is the formula. You started with equal sign, and you use the F function. This is your first function, and you open it. Now you have an argument inside. The argument says, if this value is less than this threshold, okay? Then I want you to return the value rent. Otherwise, I don't want you to return anything. Okay? This will account for only this option, the first option, which is if this value is less than the threshold. What about the OR option, the other? Let's say if this one is the least. Is this the one the least? No, but we want to see if this one is the least amount of totals here. What we're going to use inside the if function is another function called OR. Okay? And OR will give me two explanations here. So this is the first logic, this one. And now I have to add the other logic. If, then I have OR, this thing or this value is less than this value, the second argument, which is in between. So it's like you're saying if this value or this value, okay? But you have to write the function name at the beginning, okay? So, or if this value equals the minimum, this is my third function. If this is the minimum among all these values, okay, then I want the word rent, okay? No, this is, you have to close the parentheses to make sure that you are outside the OR function, you back to the if function now, okay? So now this is the value if either this one or this one is true. Not all of them, either is this one or this one is true, you're gonna return the word rent, or you're gonna return the black empty one. This is the other function, the OR function. You have two logical explanations inside. If this value is less than this value, the one in the total cell, or if this value is the minimum, equals the minimum, okay? So this one showed us the rent because this one falls below the 95%, although this is not the minimum, but this one falls below the 95%. But again, we have to fix some of the relevance here, or the references here, okay? The L4, it's always gonna be this one. If you start shifting down, this will go down with you. We don't want that to happen, okay? We want to write F4 here, so we're gonna fix the cell there. So whenever we move or use autofill, this won't change, okay? We're gonna do the same thing for the minimum, all right? It's always gonna be the minimum among this range. So we go here and click F4, and this one again, F4. This one should be free because when I move down, I want to check this value. I move down further, I want to check the other values down there. This one also should go down and follow with it. If you click enter, now you can be able to use the autofill. See, this is a 97%. This exceeds the 95, but this is the lowest. This is my lowest revenue. That's why you see rent there, and you don't see it among the others. Okay? Spend some time with this. Try to understand it very carefully. Oops. Come on. Okay? Whenever you click inside there, don't click somewhere else. I mean, try to click enter first before you. If you're here and trying to click somewhere else, it's gonna add that to the formula. You're gonna miss out all the things. Here we want to use the spark lines. So you select the empty cells. This is similar to the assignment. So you go here and click insert, spark lines, line. So you want the trend of the actual sales per month. You click OK, and you can see, you can change the style here. I don't know if it asks you to do that, but I think you can change the spark lines here, or the style. It also asks you to create a pie chart. Let's go back to the, so we covered all the way down here until Sparkline. Asks you to create a pie chart that shows the percentage of revenue per book. This one, the percentage. Okay, I want to see this and the book title. So I will select the book title. Press Control, keep pressing Control, and select the percentage. So both columns are now selected. Take your finger out of the control and go to Insert Pie and a 3D pie. If you want to change the title, you can start typing it, the percentage, etc., etc. You click outside, then you can see. But now we want to see the values here. It says the outer N. Okay, so we want to go to the elements. I want to show the data label, which is inside N. Is it inside N or outside N? I think it's inside N. I want to see the percentage inside N. You can also modify the option. You go there and click on if you want to see the value and the percentage. So we're seeing the value here because this is a percentage actually. If you use the percentage of a percentage, it doesn't make any sense. Because this is a percentage, we can select the value. But if it asks you to show the percentage, usually you go here and select the percent. If you want to see them both together, you can select both together. It asks you to move the legend. These are the legend. This will explain you the colors. So this is the blue, this is the blue. So you go here to the legend and click right. You show them to the right of the chart. What else? Does it ask you for more? I think it asks you to change the style. You have to move it to a different sheet, but also it's changed the style to 7. So this is the style here. So this is the style, this is the elements. This is the mostly where you need to access the data. So this is the style. Go and select style 7. I'll just give you nice colors here. If you move that to a different table, don't copy and paste. I mean, moving is different than copying and pasting. So if you move the chart from the right click, you click on the chart and you click move chart. Or alternatively, you can go to design and move chart. Okay, it's the same thing. You move it to a new sheet, which is called chart, whatever. It asks you the name. You click enter. Okay, and you see it in a new chart. It asks you to move the sheet somewhere else. Do so. Okay, it makes more sense to go this way rather than going back. The loan, this was in the assignment. The other table here. This is a very good practice for the fixing rows and columns in references, okay? So here we have to use the PMT function to calculate the quarterly payments. In the assignment, we used the monthly payment. Here we use it quarterly. So everything is multiplied or divided by 4. Okay, so we have 4 payments in a year. And the bookstore wants to see if the loan is 20,000, and you want to see different options if they offer 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years with rates 3.5, 4, 4.5. So we want to see my quarterly payments if I'm choosing one of these options, okay? So let's start typing the function. It's PMT, okay? Sorry. PMT function. And here we want to enter the rate. So this is my rate. But we want to divide that rate by 4, okay? Because it's a quarterly rate. And then we want to select the number of years, this one, but you also want to multiply that by 4 because we're getting what is it called? Quarterly payments. So we have total of 4 payments in 1 year, 8 payments in 2 years, etc. That way we'll multiply by 4. And then we want to see our present value for the amount. This is our amount. And we're done. Now we have it as a negative value. You can add a negative sign at the front to just make it look like a positive value. But what's going to happen if we use the autofill and we go this side? If you just type it this way, this is going to be a great example. You're going to see that if you use the autofill, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, why it doesn't make any sense? Because the relevance here are moving. Now we're selecting this cell because you moved it from this cell to that cell. This was relative, so it moved when you use the autofill. We don't want to use that, okay? How do we fix that thing? If you go back here, this is kind of like obvious because it's one cell for all these 9 cells. So we want to fix that one an absolute value. So we're going to go and give it a 4. So whenever we copy the formula to other cells, this will lock. Okay, it's always there. But what about these 2? Okay, for example, this one, if we move the or use the autofill this way, we want to lock the columns. It won't change the columns, so it's always going to be B. It's not going to C, D, and E. But if we move down, we want the row to be free. So when we go here and copy this formula here, this value should be B13 instead of B12. So here, what we're doing is that we lock the column. Okay, so you can manually add the sign here at the front of the column. So you're fixing the column, not the row. Okay, the row is free to change, not the column. Here's the opposite. Okay, you want to fix the row, but you want to change the column. So here you're going to use 1, but here you're going to use 2. So the column will change from C to D to E. But when you go down, you move it down, you don't want to change from 11. You want to keep it at 11. Okay, so this is how your function is going to look like. And now when you click enter and you use the autofill this side and then use autofill downside, you get the correct amounts. It should be a correct amount. There's something wrong with there. What did I do here? I didn't add the, oops, excuse me. This, you should add the $sign here, okay? So we're fixing the row, not the column, okay? Excuse me, no, these are incorrect values. These are correct, but the one down there are not, because I didn't add that sign there. So although you see some values there, when you go to the quiz, I might put these values in the quiz so you think you did it correctly, but you have to be careful at the beginning, okay? Now when you use the autofill up and down, these are the correct values, okay? Practice this. This is very important to understand when to use this sign in front of columns or rows. This was in chapter 2. I think I talked about it. You can see also the video. I explained that. Try to take this practice before. Oh, the last one is the file name. This should be no problem. If you go to view, you change the page layout, then you can see the header and footer. So you can add the left side, you can add the file name. Okay, you can add the file name there. Click outside, you can see the file name is added. Go back to your normal view, save and submit. In the test, you have to submit the file first. This is the first question, then you can take the other 10 questions. Try to take it before seeing the solution. If you already saw the solution, work it in yourself. Don't just watch the video. You have 75 minutes to finish the test, so it's more of a practical skill that you need to learn, not only visual. Okay, and good luck.